Good evening, everyone. Today I'll be talking about stress in college students. The reason I've selected college students is that in India, 40 to 50% of the population is youth, and 90% of them go to the colleges, and mostly, they're preparing for their future, constantly going under so much of stress. So, today I'll be telling about what is stress and how do you identify your stress, how to overcome this. One thing you have to remember is that stress is inevitable. In all phases of your life, you have to deal with stress. Instead of running away from the stress, you have to fight it. You have to know in what ways we can control the stress so that you can lead a happy life. So let's start. So stress is basically, it's not any disorder or a disease kind of thing. It's a normal phenomenon that occurs in every person's of life, regardless of what class they belong or what in which society they live. So it's basically a normal phenomenon that occurs in every human being on this world, and it's basically biologically speaking, it's a fight or flight response that our body gives to the challenges you can overcome. That means it's like fight. Fighting means if there is any situation, you shouldn't have hold back, you have to fight against that. So the body gives a physical and chemical reaction manifesting as stress. So stress can be divided as acute stress and chronic stress. These are the medical terms. Acute means it's very short lived and it's quick, whereas chronic refers to longer duration and it's mostly constant. So now I'll talk about acute stress. As I mentioned earlier, acute stress in this time, the acute stress manifests as the sudden increase in the heartbeat. There is shortness of breath. You might be feeling some chest pain or stomach pain or some kind of giddiness. Your palms will be sweating. You will be very anxiety. The main reasons for acute stress in college students is during their exams. So generally, the exam is in the next week. The person obviously from 2 to 3 days before the exam, the persons start getting stressed. They have the vast syllabus to cover. They have to study at any cost. Otherwise, they'll be having low grades. So they manifest all these kind of symptoms. But still, there's no need to worry. If you will attend the exams, I think you remember, when you will write the last paper of your exam, you come out of the hall and you're like relieved. So there's nothing to worry about acute stress. Acute stress usually subsides after the stressful event is completed. Most probably, I'm talking about college students. So majorly, the exams, the viva, seminars, or your dance performances, college, graduation things, and all that will affect you regarding the acute stress. Let's talk about chronic stress. As I told, acute stress is very, very different from chronic stress. As I told, acute is short lived. So, coming to the chronic stress, not every person goes into chronic stress. Mostly, chronic stress manifests as dull and constant. So, in acute stress, you have seen that whatever symptoms I told, they're very excitatory. The person becomes very frightened. Whereas in chronic stress, it is completely opposite. Chronic stress is broadly, defined by two terms, dull and constant. So constant. In acute stress, the event after your exams, you're relieved. Whereas in chronic, the events are very large. For example, there is a troubled marriage. You have gone a divorce, your child is dead, your parents have met by the accident, your bank money is looted, and there are big events happening in your life. So that these things will take a lot of time to settle back, and this is the phase of your life when you get under so much of chronic stress. And what happens is, in the chronic stress, it will take generally from weeks to months. The person will eventually get habituated. First day he'll be crying, second day he'll be crying, and after 2 or 3 months, his crying becomes very normal to him. He doesn't feel that, okay, I'm crying, I need to take any help, I have to go to a doctor, I have to call my friend and tell. These things generally don't happen. So they get so habituated that they think it's normal to cry. They think stress is like, everyone is saying stress, why should I take medical help? They're so habituated in them. The mostly things like hypertension, heart attacks or depression occur in patients who are under chronic stress. Chronic stress really need a medical help, but most of the people ignore these things as they think they get habituated or the symptoms subside over long term. But no, chronic stress is a silent killer. In acute stress, at least your friend will know that you're anxious or you are under constant stress. Chronic stress is very personal. it will attack you from inside, and that's why you have to take a medical help for this. And I need to talk about this term called episodic stress. Now you might be knowing what our episodes mean. So when acute stress manifests in episodes, you call that as a episodic stress. So now coming to the regarding this college thing, you have exam, but after days you have other more exam, you get stressed again, you have one more event, you get stressed again. So you'll be habituated. There are many number of stress episodes coming, and that's you call it as episodic stress. So what happens in episodic stress is that the person worries so much. Every time he's irritated, every time he's anxious, every time he's worried. As a result, he'll be having a lot of headaches and all, that will really affect his personal life. Let's talk about the reasons we are getting the stress. Majorly coming to the college students, I would like to tell the most important thing pertaining to stress is the academic performances. Now most 90% of the Indian students are either landing in engineering or studying medicine or doing law, dentist, or the CA, or some they are trying for the lucrative government jobs. So they are under the constant stress that if I get some a sort of percentage, or if I'll be in the top 10, then only I'm getting a job that will feed me in a better way. So they think this, and they're constantly worried about what marks they get, how to pass and all. They spend a lot of time on this, so that really causes a lot of stress in that. Also, the disparity in the parent child relationships. So majorly most of them students, when they write your entrance examination, and you see your seat somewhere else, they have to shift from their hometown to the other place. So as a result, the parent child relationships goes far. It's true that you're getting WhatsApp video calls, you're constantly talking on phone, you're meeting on Sundays, but still the bond gets become loosened. And most of the time youth, I mean the age factor, they try to concentrate on their friends rather than their parents. So you usually parents are getting like decided, and people the students have a mental thing of that thing, so that will really do upon stress. Future plans, as I told you, the academics thing is very hard hitting on them. They also have this thing that, okay, I'll do 4 years of engineering, then what next? Should I take MS in US? Should I keep a company? Should I do MBA? Should I attempt for civils? These kind of questions do a lot. Also social pressure. Now if you are 24 and 25 and your studies are completed, every time they'll be asking what's next. That kind of tortures everyone, because in the youth you have more hormones raging, and you want to do that this, you're constantly under pressure, and this will be adding thing. And also you'll be seeing this pandemic is hitting so much hard on software thing, and not only software thing, I think except healthcare, everything, every field is getting narrowed. So the stress is really common. One more thing I have to say is that relationships. So 20 years back relationships were a big thing, people have given importance to that. Now I think the perspective is different. Relationships, I don't mean like a boyfriend girlfriend relationships, girlfriend relationships in every sense. Even friendships, they're restricted to only moving outside, enjoying, they're not forming the real bond. Mostly friendship should concentrate on speaking about each other problems and solving, but these things are not happening. And majorly when you people come to cities, they get fancy seeing, okay, this boy has a girl, this girl has a great boyfriend, let me also try. They are indulging in time pass things. They are leastly concentrating on their studies, or anything. This really affects on your stress. One breakup happens or one dispute happens, you see how youngsters are reacting. One thing happens and they beat others, they do drugs, they smoke, they alcohol, they drunk party, all these kinds. Now in recent youth it's rising. Also about the money factor, money has been the important factor from the very beginning of the life. As you know that this lockdown is hitting hard, and not only in the lockdown but every youth, mostly they suffer from identity crisis. They see others who are above them having Apple company things and branded items. They want to show others that they all belong to the upper class, and they mostly spend money on that, and they'll be asking their parents who earn very much less. They put pressure on their parents to give so much pocket money, and they also think how to how to earn money, will I get money, how to balance things out of money, that really things put under you a lot of stress. Let's talk about the types of stress college students generally encounter on a daily basis. So, firstly, is the time stress. So, these time stress, at the particular time you feel a lot of stress, mostly manifested as acute stress. For example, you have exam on 25th of this month. So, obviously, till 25th of the exam, till you finish your exam, there is a stress. Next one is anticipatory stress. This stress is linked to the anticipation. So anticipation leads to excessive worry leads to excessive headache leads to excessive isolation or excessive disturbance in your personal life. The third is situational stress. There are some situations in our life that are inevitable, that are not under our control. So that time you have no option but to face the stress. For example, you get a phone call of your dear ones died in an accident, or there's an emergency, you have to go immediately. So I think by the time you reach the place, or in the journey, you feel a lot of stress, and that really reduces when the situation is under your control or the situation causing stress has subsided. So this will be the duration of this stress is it's not constant, it varies. For example, the situation, your loved ones get cancer, you will be in a situational stress for a long time. And if just as a small injury, your situational stress will last for only few days. Next is the encounter stress. Mostly I think this encounter stress you see in college students when they're going to Viva. You see your HOD and you're shit scared. You feel like if I'm not going to answer it, he may give this kind of punishment or that this kind. But once the encounter is over, you are relieved. But when you see other person in some shopping mall, now you get encounter stress again. You don't want to see your HOD and you will run back. I used to encounter this stress in my childhood. Whenever I used to see my teacher in the shopping mall or something, I never wished. I used to really get scared. And that's kind of short-lived stress is called the encounter stress. So how should how will you know that you are under stress? There are certain signs and symptoms. There are some manifestations by which you can say that you are under stress, or so-called your person or family member is under stress. So based on this, you can relate and take a professional help and take your own self things to control the stress. Majorly is emotional. So as many people, not many, like many doctors or researchers say that stress is mostly an emotional thing rather than a physical thing. Of course, your brain and your body are connected. There is an exchange of many things. Majorly coming to the emotional things, the patients are mostly irritable. You get very irritable. I don't say mood swings, but you kind of easily get irritated. There is inability to relate, and there is inability to relax. The patient is more, you're in a group, but your friend is in distress. He goes somewhere and he sits there. He is not talking to you. He's just sitting idle. He'll be in depression. So such things happen. Physical thing. I think physical thing is the most important thing that you can manifest stress easily, and 99% of the people who are under stress manifest physical things most commonly than the emotional or any other thing. Physical thing mainly, you get the chest pain or increase in heart rate. You can't breathe. There is shortness of breath. Sometimes there is chest pain. Your hands will be sweaty. Some people have stomach pain. There's a tension kind of headache which relieves after the tension factor goes. Behavior. I think behavior is easy to rely on this regarding this. Appetite. So there is a change in appetite. Few people, I've seen that regarding appetite, few people eat a lot when they are under stress. Few people don't eat at all. So now you can understand by their food habits. Avoidance of a thing. They avoid things. They don't. For example, you are in a party and everyone is enjoying. They try to avoid that. They don't go there. So like avoidance factor, you can say. Also, there are some behavioral things like fidgeting or nail biting. With a lot of tension, they want to relieve that tension. They manifest in that. Cognitive symptoms. Cognitive symptoms like there is a formation of excessive thought. Constantly they are thinking, constantly they are worrying, constantly they are lonely. So I think on that basis you can say that these are the cognitive symptoms. As I told, all these signs and symptoms, if you feel, I think you have to consider these following tips to make yourself stress free. So there are healthy ways and unhealthy ways to manage stress. Healthy ways are much better, but you see people nowadays are going to the unhealthy ways of managing stress. Now I see, like when many people are stressed, generally men, they start smoking, they start drinking and all, which is not good for health. Also they binge eat, which is also not good for health. Mostly they go outside and choose some kind of junk food, which is really not good. And they don't ignore the stress. For example, your problem is academics, so you have to sit and think about studying. Instead of that, you will be doing the other things. So if you do other things, how? You're not doing the right thing. You can't control the stress. And you have phone, you have WhatsApp, you have Instagram, you have YouTube, you have everything, Zoom app and all. They use that, play PUBG and thing, that gives happiness only for a short time. But chronic stress, or these kind of stress episodes don't subside with that. And also their unhealthy ways, they don't do any other thing than giving you temporary pleasure. So I tell you healthy ways to reduce stress. Firstly, whenever you have stress, sit calmly, take deep breathing for a while. If possible, meditate. I always say in my every video to meditate, because that's the best way to to reduce your stress. Sit and think, what is the thing that's bothering you? What caused you stress? Is it your marks? Is it your relationship? Is it the money problem? What's bothering? Try to solve the problem. If you're poor in academics, take the help of your teacher, take the help of your peers. Sit and write, make a timetable how to study according to plan, slowly improve. Make if you need any professional help, please consult a doctor. And make use of the time, so that you can you have to remove the causative agent. So if you remove the causative agent, then you have no stress. I think that's really good. Spending time with loved ones. Every one of us have best friends, we have our parents to talk to. And recently they are launching online counseling services, and if you have any problem, you can just seek out for a psychologist. So mostly rather than consulting on a psychologist, there are your loved ones. Speak to them. I think that gives you so much relaxation. Take a break. Just take a break. I think when you take a break, and when you concentrate on yourself thing, when you try to improve yourself, that really freshes your mind. And the stress ka thing to pura it will go out. Get professional support. You have to believe that stress is inevitable, and you have trying all these methods. Do yoga, do exercise, especially aerobic exercise. If you have any hobbies, many people have hobbies, their kinds of passion which are not doing nowadays. Stop your phone and keep it, throw your phone aside, except for emergency call. Keep your phone aside, just utilize your phone for about 1 hour, and spend time on good habits like your hobbies. I think it will be so good. You will have so much of improvement. Yet, if you have no improvement, you can consult a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Take the professional help. So improve your life. Don't go under stress. So I think stress is very important thing now, because of various factors. We have to live with stress. Just like the corona, we've been habituated to fighting it. Stress is also like that. There is no medicine like you take this medicine, your stress will be gone. There's nothing like that. It's completely your physical and mental thing, your mostly your emotional, psychological, everything has to be in a balance. Through your exercise, yoga, and your mind, and professional help, you can align your mind to a certain extent that it will automatically heal the stress. So stress is inevitable, but still you shouldn't surrender to your stress. You have your 100% capability to fight against stress. It's such a beautiful thing, when you are stressed out, your body releases certain chemicals, certain hormones to combat stress. So some, shouldn't think that stress is always bad. Stress is good too. For example, now I have a seminar presentation going on, which is in front of a large people, and my dream is to give the seminar. If I don't have stress, I'll be like chill and I'll be not studying. If I have this stress, sometimes, I'll be thinking, okay, there are many people attending it, I don't want to be laughed at. So I'll take time for that, prepare the topic, give seminar nicely, I get claps, I get appreciation from everywhere. That really gives me happiness. So I think major thing, you shouldn't take stress in a bad way. Of course, there is good stress. To an extent, sometimes stress is better. In pushing your passion, or in putting efforts for your family, or putting your efforts to earn money. Stress has been always catalyst. It adds to a hard work. Many people I see, they tell that actually many students also study only if they have exam. I see very few people studying if they don't have exam. So that kind of stress is good, but one stress is to an extent that it disturbs your personal life, it will disturb your relationship with your loved ones, it's time to take an action. Start controlling with the measures I've told you. If that's not revealed, then you have to consult a psychiatrist or psychologist, take counseling, take proper advice and do everything that makes you stress free. Thank you for listening. Jai Hind.